Good evening, Corey. How are you, man?
Hey, Brett, we are getting some of your Oklahoma weather up here tonight. We're got a little snow falling in the sky and
Oh, yes.
chilly.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Yep.
I think it's 70 down here today. We had our county fair, and I think tomorrow's high is like 34, and that's in the morning.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, crash and burn on the weather. Cattle Drive Live, man. Here we are. I don't even know season two, episode more than two. I don't know what the number is. Let's just roll with few.
Yeah, we've done a few.
Hey, tonight kind of hits a little close to home for you. 605 Donors and Sires
Yeah.
is our episode sponsor, I should say, our frame sponsor for the night, as we've called it. You know a little something about that place, don't you?
Yeah, we do. And we are fortunate tonight. We have got the heart of 605 with us, Katie Metcalf,
Oh, yeah.
uh,
Hello.
the person
Okay.
behind the scenes at 605 that really runs the show. We're just me and Corey Shog are just there for people to talk to, but
But
she she takes care of a lot of you that call the office. That's who you talk to. But Katie, we just wanted to have you on tonight. Tell us a little bit about what we got going donor wise there at 605.
yeah, absolutely. Lately we've started working with ABS Global. ABS is now here every Wednesday doing aspirations. We've become super busy with that. The schedule is definitely filling up fast. So if clients want to get in, the sooner you get on the schedule, the more flexible we can be for you. We also, with the sire part of it, offer a lot of different sire choices for our aspirations, both conventional and sex semen that you can purchase through us for your IVF. And we also do a lot of slots, so you can share semen with different customers. That helps with the cost of semen.
Awesome. Hey, so word on the street is construction around there is underway. I saw some pictures early on of Corey doing the demolition.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit, real quick, about or Corey or either one of you. Tell us about what is underway with this new construction we see in this picture.
Yeah, we have Katie and I. We struggle on a daily. When I'm not at a bull sale, I'm in the office. We struggle daily right now because we're fighting the construction. As you can see in that picture there. Now those offices are all built, and but we're still till we get the new addition made. Those big tanks are kind of up front there, and then once that second addition's made, that's where the sex semen lab will go, and that's where all those big storage tanks will all go to that big back room, won't they, Katie?
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and
Well,
we are slated. Should be kicking that off. Everything's looking like the first part of April. We should be up and running, have that built, and we're going to have two sorting machines on site there at 605 to be able to sort for male and female sexes. And we'll still be making conventional semen all the time, obviously, and hopefully we'll get this construction done and be ready to get to rocking and rolling.
good deal. Well, Katie, it was a pleasure to have you on tonight and talk to us about 605 sires and donors. And it's you guys have sure been aggressive in that business. And thanks for being on tonight. And bless your soul for having to put up with that guy.
Hey, that ain't no lie there. She
Yes,
fixes
thank
a
you
lot
so
of
much.
problems for me.
Right. Right. Well, no, it was nice. It was nice to be able to put a face with a name. There's nothing worse than calling somewhere and needing something and you think you know, but it was nice to have you on to finally put a
Absolutely,
face with
yes.
it.
Thank you for having me as well.
Thanks for what you
Absolutely.
do,
We
Kate.
appreciate you guys. Tell Corey and Melissa.
Will do.
All right. Yeah.
Uh,
Man, I knew there had to be somebody around that joint that made you look good.
yeah,
I mean,
that's her. That's
yeah,
the
that
one.
is for sure it. So Yeah. Hey, one more thing. Cattle Drive Live and Drive Marketing has finally settled on some prices and it's out there. Obviously, 605 took advantage of some of these frames, as we call them. You can see right here the 605 frame is up. We are going to sell those. Those will be available each week. And the pricing on those is $350 per episode, or you can buy three of these for $900. It's $300 an episode. You pick the dates you would like to be. If they're not taken, we'll pencil you in. You'll get just like that 2 minutes of advertising to talk about that at the front part of the show, or you just tell us where you'd like it to be. And then Drive Marketing, which has been something popular. Corey, do you want to visit about that at all?
You bet. Yep. We're looking at getting a bunch of those lined up this spring, and those there. Yeah, we got my fault, Brad. I don't got those on.
That's okay. Hey, level one is
Okay.
$500. That's
Yep.
4 pictures, no videos. You can get on and visit with us. Roundtable top discussion to help market whatever your case is. Level two is $750. That is up to 8 pictures and or videos that we will help you help market, whether it's offspring, herd bulls. You tell us if you've got something you need help with. The views have been great. Paige will tell you they're 3,000 to 5,000. Guys, we can't hide behind the numbers like some. We'll just show you what it is. The people are liking what we're doing. But those dates are starting to fill up as spring gets here. So that's new. Page is just right around the corner from having our website up. You'll be able to see the episodes that are in the past, what's coming up, and follow along here with Cattle Drive as well. So that's it. Hey, segment one. Let's get to the coffee shop. Current events within ag. Tell me about San Antonio Junior Heifer Show.
Yeah, the Supreme Heifer there was the champion ORB heifer. What does that stand for, Brett?
Other registered breeds, I believe.
Okay, because they don't have keys and maintainers and stuff down there, right? And so I don't know if this heifer was a key or a maintainer, but a Banshee daughter raised by the Sullivans there in Dunlap, Iowa, one shown by Lane Hagan and sold by Nick Fitzsimmons and that Tony Jeffs guy down there.
Yeah, two guys that sure know what some quality is. Congratulations to the Hagan family. That's kind of the biggest thing. The market steers now move in. I don't know who's judging that steer show, and I sure don't. Maybe Shane Bedwell is what I was hearing. Is that right? Shane and who?
I can't tell you, to be honest with you. I know he was judging that Houston show, but I don't know on that one.
Okay, well, yeah, I heard about the Houston guy. I don't know about him either, but
yeah.
Hey, here we go. This is some new little segment that we're going to start bringing to you each week, I guess. Where in the world is Kent Jakey?
Hi, boys.
Hello, Jake.
Well, yeah, I'm actually in a hotel room rather than my car tonight because it got so darn cold up in South Dakota. I wimped out and got a room.
There you go. Do you sleep in your car sometimes?
No.
Oh, that's fixing to say.
No, I haven't refrained. I have one night this year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, don't say I have one night. So,
oh man, well, guys,
hey, where are you at? What's the skinny on Kent Jakey? Where are you? Where you been? Where you headed? In 3 minutes ago.
Well, this last week I took off, loaded all my tanks up this week, got everything loaded up, but I delivered a tank to my good friend Dean Drummond, who lives in Donahue, Iowa. Dean lives, a stone's throw literally from Illinois. And then he's not 45 minutes from Wisconsin border. And he lives, in that really kind of a neat little area right there in eastern Iowa. And Dean runs an awesome set of cows. He and I have become very, very close friends. He's one of the truly great cowmen I know. But a lot of people in that area know him. And heck, I bet I was at his place 6 times last year, meeting different customers that he had gotten me hooked up with. So I felt like it needed I needed to put a tank there. So I stuck a tank there. And Dean's going to help me market semen in that area if somebody needs it at the last minute or whatever. You know how it is, Corey. Everybody brings cows into Asprey and they go, "Oh my God, what are we going to breed them to?" And or we're going to fertilize to. And so that component is always involved in this time of year. And so anyway, so I did that, and then I stayed in Illinois during the blizzard. We had a lot of snow there last Thursday, but I met my good friend Tim Heckman, of course, with Midwest Genetics. He met me in the Quad Cities, and I loaded him up for stuff he needed. And then I got my way back, found my way back into Des Moines, and then of course we had that Donors on Ice Friday night. Corey was there with me, and
Hey,
we had a great sale there.
Yeah, give us some. You were there, and you remember it better than I do. Gross is $1,073,750, just shade over $1 million, and that Hondo bull topped it. What did he bring?
The Hondo bull, he brought 105,000 for half interest in that bull.
Yep. And then that main bull that Scroggs actually offered, Take Action. He was the second high seller at.
So he'd be a full brother to Freedom.
Yep.
And a family met that family from Wisconsin that purchased that bull, and two families from Wisconsin and from Ohio.
Bowback family and Leafers, and then you guys met into that bull as well.
Yep. So we'll be carrying that semen on Full Action, Take Action in this spring too. So we're excited about that. But hey, those embryos, Christy called me the next day and said the embryos averaged 2104.
2104. And the top sellers obviously were them ones of Brad Smith, the full fed, the Fort Worth and Oklahoma City champion steer, and they bring
7,500.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh wow.
For four of them.
For four of them.
30,000.
30,000. That's right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, had the biggest crowd that we'd ever had at that thing for as long as we've had it there at Des Moines. This is the 13th year we've had, believe it or not, had Donors on Ice, and that was the biggest crowd he's had there, and it was good. It was really good. The activity was good. It was a great night. And then I went out to the show the next day, watched the show a little bit, and then I headed north. So I went through the Rammels. I'm involved with helping them market their cattle. So Rammel Cattle Company, Phil Rammel and his sons, Adam and Grant, we're having their bull sale a week this coming Sunday, right there in Goodwin, South Dakota. So I went up and went through those bulls and spent some time out in the cold weather with them on Sunday. And then I went down to Van Hoves and went through his bulls. His bull sales tonight on SC. And they're also selling semen there for good tonight. And they're going to have some good to go semen on that auction too. But I went through Robbie. Robbie's got a great set of bulls, kind of clubbier bred, but got a real strong maternal base. And then I looked at a bunch of his new babies, saw some spot on babies there, which I'm real excited about. Those calves. He's a Cavanese, more of a club calf bred bull. And then I stayed there with Rob and Cheryl last night, and then I was going to go out to Dave Caffey's today. I wanted to give you guys a report on Dave Caffey's. Caffey Ranch is going to have their bull sale March 22nd. It's a it's going to be an online sale on SC, and I wanted to give you a report about them, but it was just the wind was blowing so hard today, and snowing sideways, and it was just really cold. And Lacey. Dave and Nancy were under the weather, and so Lacey was doing all the chores by herself, and I don't think you could have heard me on a Facebook Live anyway today. It was nasty. So I kind of made my way back to Sioux Falls, and I'm going to head over to Transova tomorrow, and I'm going to stay up here this week, and I've got plenty of herd visits to make this next week. So I'm going to stay up here in Iowa, Nebraska. I'm going to meander down into Kansas. One day I've got some visits down north of Kansas City, and then come back up into South Dakota and be back up here this weekend so I can be at Rammel's on Sunday. And then I'm going home, be home for a week. And then, hey, next week I'll kind of let you know where I'm at next week. So
That will be
But
good.
next
Jake,
Monday
it's
night, I
been,
plan on being home.
awesome. Okay. Well, hey, you be careful in your travels. Thanks for being on here, and we will see you sometime this next week.
All right, guys. Hey, see ya.
Great.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Brett, we're gonna jump in here to this this sales report here.
Jump right on it. Tell us about Shaw's.
Yep, we sold some multiple breed bull sale there. Sold 172. That's a lot of Hereford bulls. Averaged 47.90. 162 Angus, 70.74. 26 red Angus, average 50.10. 90 head of commercial pairs, average 19.90, just shy of 2,000.
That's right. Then we got Jason Hoffman, the Hoffman crew, Jason and Denny there in Nebraska sell 173 18 to 24-month-old bulls, average 85.10. 68 yearling bulls, Angus bulls average $8,011. 17 yearling semi bulls, 6,059. 258 bulls total, gross $2.1 million, average 82.17. The high seller was HWMS Resolute 1443 bull bring $150,000 in Thedford, Nebraska. So we spoke about donors on ice already. Congratulations to our buddy Tyler Humphrey on that. Gosh, that thing is good. It's awesome for the business. And apparently somebody wanted them a little dose of those Brad Smith eggs, and they got them some. So
Yeah.
hey, tonight
Yep.
we have advertised it for almost a week now. Jake and Ashley Wagner are with us. They have just recently. Hey, there they are. Hi, y'all.
Hey guys, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. Is exactly right. Hey, coming to us. Are you guys back home in Colorado, or are you still hanging out in Iowa?
No, we're back home. We actually left Iowa this morning, drove all day, got home. Pretty chilly when we got home, snowing and about 9 degrees, and put some hay out, made sure everybody was bedded down, and then got ready for this tonight.
I got you. Got you. Hey, real quick, tell us, we just visited about you getting back home to Colorado. Tell us what part of Colorado. I mean, you guys manage the Beatty livestock outfit there, the Scimitar operation. Give us just a little kind of rundown about that real quick. What part of Colorado are we in? Cow herd. I mean, tell us kind of a little bit what's shaking out there in the Rocky Mountain State.
Well, we're still kind of in the building stages. We've only been at it for what, 4 years now. But we're located in northern Colorado, Loveland, just west of, or southwest of Loveland here, and predominantly focus on running donor cows at this facility, and then work with a few cooperators and going to continue to grow that direction. Mainly Simmental cattle, sprinkle a few Angus in there when we can. But yeah, that's kind of the overarching goal of it, and continue to grow. So,
Right, good deal. You know, and I mean, when you guys got started there at Beatty's, what was the start like? Did you just go grab you a handful of cows and say, "This is what we're going to do"? I mean, give me the skinny on 3 years into running some donor cows. How do we get started? Where do we get started? You two are for sure known in the business. But for sure, I mean, where do you start? How do you start?
we pretty much, kind of an interesting story, actually. We were still living in Kansas, and I was still finishing up school there at K-State, and got a phone call from Ken Beatty one night, and naturally I didn't answer the phone because it was a Thursday, and those Thursday nights in Manhattan generally are dedicated towards drinking beer. So the next day, I ended up calling Ken back, and he had a few ideas, and it was Sydney's last year in 4-H, and so we started with just finding a few show calves, for county fair and state fair, and then Ken had a few other ideas, and we started kind of brainstorming and what we wanted to do, and kind of started from there. Ken liked Simmental cattle and had the resources to get it going, and so we went out and started buying donor cows, and we those Sydney the donors that we focused on buying were predominantly for Sydney to show. But in the back of our mind, they were in terms of a selection process, they were ones that we knew we were going to turn into a donor cow. And so it wasn't just about the winning a show here or winning a show there. And that's basically how we got started. And Ken one night bought some eggs at a D-bar sale. And the next day, again, I didn't answer the phone that night, and he called and said, "Hey, I got some people wanting to buy these eggs. Do I sell them to them?" I said, "Well, what did you buy?" And he bought a bunch of loaded up Boots eggs. And I said, "Well, you probably should keep those. Probably don't need to sell those since you've already got them purchased." And lo and behold, we went 6 for 6 and had a Denver champion bull out of it. What did we keep? 2?
No, we kept the bull. We went 6 for 6 on those eggs, which is pure luck. But what we got out of that would have been the bull that we won Denver with just a couple of years ago as a bull calf, a heifer that we campaigned 2 years ago that we called Prada, that was 6th overall at Junior Nationals and was always in the run in division with the heifer of Sullivan's that won quite a bit that year. We had one that Maggie Griswold showed 2 years ago that won quite a bit as a calf and did well at OIE as a big bred heifer. And then a couple of other ones that sold really well for us. So it was a pretty good investment on Ken's part, that's for sure. Like Jake said, we kind of started helping them and helping buy show heifers for Sydney. And that year, it was the 2017 Griswold Classic. We bought those. Ken bought those embryos. He bought lot 4, which would have been the mother to the heifer that we just won Denver with, and bought lot 15 out of the sale that year, which would have been the mother to the percentage heifer that we showed all last year that was reserve bred and owned at Junior Nationals, or I guess 2 years ago, reserve bred and owned at Junior Nationals, and then came back and won Junior Nationals as a cow-calf pair last summer. So it was a pretty good buying spree there at the G-Bar that year. So
Wow, I'd say.
Hey, and you guys at the Iowa Beef Expo sorted the market show there. Sounds like it was a hell of a show. I heard from several people back to back between Jake and Mark Kopus last year. They said undeniably the 2 best haired suckers that have ever evaluated cattle. I've heard that from a number of people.
he had the flow going for sure.
Oh, I mean, I tell you.
Well,
I was digging it. I flipped on the pulse.
I was going to get it trimmed, but I'm pretty biased to my walks, and so I didn't. And of course, we walk in there Saturday morning, and the first thing Shockey says to me, he goes, "Glad to see you can get a haircut." I said, "Well, at least I can grow some hair on the top of my head, Scott."
No kidding. That's right. Yep.
Oh man.
But tell us a little bit about the depth of quality in that show and what you've seen out there.
You know, when you get asked to judge the Iowa Beef Expo, you obviously, as you both know, the hype behind it, it's huge. I mean, it's over 1,000 entries every year. In terms of on the heifer side of things, there's generally someone from the state of Iowa that is either winning a junior national or in the hunt to win a junior national every year, regardless of the breed. And steers similarly. And so we knew kind of what we were getting ourselves into, and in terms of quality, and that's probably what excited us the most about it. because it's not often that you get to judge a show like that with the depth of quality, and it held up to its expectation. I mean, from the start of the day on Saturday with Simmentals, to the end of that day, would we finish with breed?
The market
heifers. I mean, it was extremely good. The Simmental steer that wins the Simmental division, I am a huge fan of, in terms of just look, completeness, sound structured, and still having like a boldness of body and rib and punch. I think that one not only is good now, but it's going to be real good in the end too. And there was other breeds too. The Charolais was nice. The key was good. The mains were pretty deep. So it was deep all the way through. And then we get to the crosses on Sunday, and then the water gets deep. You got 5 divisions in the entire crossbred show, which I forget how many head they said there was, but a lot basically. And in every division you had 5, 6, 10 of them that are heaters. And so that makes it fun. It opens up discussion, it opens up for discussion, between Ashley and I, and not to say we agree on a lot of things, and there were some things we didn't agree on, but I mean, that's part of it. And those
that actually leads us to the next question. Were there close calls for you two? Were there disagreements? And talk about that, like hindsight, who was right? Who was the one that was like, okay, I'm going to bite my tongue today, but on the way home, it was like, okay, you were right.
There wasn't big disagreements necessarily. Jake and I are pretty par for the course with each other on what we like. There was a couple of classes and divisions, primarily when we got into the crossbreds, where a lot of times, and I mean, Corey, you got to sort through that deal last year. I mean, a lot of times you've got 2 steers that are in a class that are both exceptionally good, but both very, very different. And there's things that you like about both of them. There's things that you'd like to change about both of them. And Jake and I really went into it with the thought process to try and pick ones that we thought, yes, are going to be good, are good and look the part today, but we think, still had the structure, still had the parts, the pieces to go on and be, running it at Iowa State Fair this summer, running at Kansas City and Louisville in the fall. And so there were multiple spots where we agreed with what we saw in both the cattle, didn't necessarily agree, with which one needed to win, which one needed to be second. It just depended on who got the mic. Who got the mic for that?
Blake Bloomberg asked, who won the arguments?
It was 50-50. We'll go with that. I won the final argument. Those 2 steers that win the crossbred drive. I mean, truthfully, there's 4 steers in that crossbred drive that are incredible. I mean, we could have gone 4 deep in those crossbreds and probably put all 4 of them in the top 5 at the end. And for us, there's 2 of them that stood out, and they're just incredible animals, just incredible cattle. Presented immaculately, put together immaculately. For us, met our type and kind in terms of, like Jake said, having some look, having some punch, some robustness, but still being able to get out and go, and having some structural integrity, being good in terms of their feet and things like that. And there's 2 of them. And I talked about it on the mic. I mean, on any given day, you could go probably any direction, and under different people, they'd go a lot of different directions. And there's not a right answer. There wasn't a right answer on, which one probably needed to win and which one, from 6 months from now is going to be better. They're both exceptionally good. At the end, I got the W on which one we used to be grand, and and he had to just stick with the other one being reserved. So
we would have been out there for about 5 hours if we just didn't move on. So we moved on.
Hey, so I've got to ask on this picking these things.
The one she wanted to use was bigger and probably more par in terms of weight for that deal, and the one I wanted to use maybe a little bit smaller, but regardless, doesn't matter. Both cattle are good. I like them both. We both like them both. Really good cattle.
And Ashley, you hit on this just a little bit. You said, there wasn't maybe just a right answer. You could have done a lot of different things. When somebody says that, I always want to ask, and I'm going to get the chance now to ask this. When you guys sorted these prospect steers, they call them market steers. That's what they'll end up being. Was your thought process this weekend the best one today or the best one in the, as market steers? Was it a balance between the two, or did you say today this one wins and 2 months from now it may be a different one? What is your thoughts there?
For us, we tried to balance it. I mean, I think we tried to balance it in the sense that, there were probably some cattle there that did, maybe weren't necessarily our type and kind and got to the top end of the class because they were ready. They looked the part. They were, ready to go here and now. At the end of the day, we still tried to emphasize on picking cattle that we thought from a structural standpoint were built good enough to make it to the end. And that's probably for us where we sat and put our priorities, having some youthfulness, especially at this stage. We get into some of these shows and some of these cattle are already looking really mature and really, you question, and it goes for both steers and heifers. Are they going to be able to make it to the end? And try to focus on picking cattle that, yes, they look the part today, but they're still youthful. They still have some extension. They still have some punch, some body, all of those things, and really have the structural base that's going to be able to stand up to, all the feed and all the work that's going to be going into them all the way towards the end.
You bet. Well, Ashley, there's no doubt about it. I've known you a long time, and you are one that speaks what's on your mind. And your Grand Drive speech this week, it struck a nerve with some people in different ways, all different ways. Heard about it most of the day today. I would just like you to, because not everybody's going to hear it. I guess we got voice memos now, and somebody, you always can be recorded, and obviously you got recorded. But
Yeah.
So I guess in your own words, kind of sum up what the message was in that speech and what you were wanting to kind of get the message you were wanting to get across.
I'm not going to go back and talk about some of the things that probably initiated me to wanting to talk about or give that speech. I think that we live in an incredible industry, an industry that we all are very passionate about, that we do business in every single day. It's what we live for. And it's a great industry. And 90% of the time, it's all wonderful and it's all sunshine and rainbows. But there's an ugly side to the industry, and it's not always great and it's not always perfect. And I think that the longer that we go without addressing some of the things in the industry that maybe we need to talk about and we need to change and we need to address, the longer we go doing that, the more we allow some things to happen that shouldn't be happening. And I guess for me, going in and talking about how things have changed a lot in the last 10 years. And I'm not sitting here, having crews and teams and things like that is great. It's awesome. And all the money that people are spending on show cattle these days is awesome as well. I mean, coming from our perspective, we raise and sell these things. It's great when you can sell them for a bunch of money. But that's a double-edged sword. I think, having, these teams and crews and people and stuff is great, especially for a lot of kids that maybe don't grow up in this industry and maybe don't have as much support to learn and grow in it. At the same time, I think that we're starting to create a culture where people don't feel like they can go anywhere and buy cattle from anybody. I guess that's where I was getting at. Just because you're a part of somebody's team and crew doesn't mean that you can't go out on your own and find cattle all over the country, in every nook and cranny and find a good one. And you should be allowed to do that without people being upset about it. And the same thing, it's great. I think it's wonderful that people are investing more money into show cattle and investing it into what we all do. And it's wonderful if you have the financial ability to go out and spend a lot of money on show cattle for your kids. That's great. I think that's a wonderful thing. At the same time, I don't want to create a culture in our industry where people feel like they have to go out and spend that kind of money to be competitive. And really more so that they feel like they won't be competitive if they don't have the ability to go out and spend that money. And I think, with social media the way it is nowadays, we all know these cattle. We all see them go across the auction block. We all know what they bring. But when they hit that ring, it shouldn't matter if they go for $100,000, $50,000, $20,000, $5,000. That shouldn't be an indication of, how well the cattle are doing or how they're placed. When they hit that ring, we should be judging them based off of, the value and the merit that they bring to the table on that day and what we put our priorities on, depending on who's judging and what your breeding program is about. So, I should say, like I said, I'm not going to go into some of the other things that led into all of that, but I think that we need to be more comfortable with talking about some of the things and being confident and having enough courage to go out and say those things and stand up for what's right, even if it's not widely accepted or popular or makes people upset.
Yeah, no, I get that. And there was things within your speech that that I got to listen to, and I do see merit in some things, and I guess my question to you is why that platform? Just the Iowa Beef Expo Junior Show. My question to you is why that platform? You know what I mean? Just one thing that really caught me off guard, and I'm not going to debate you. I have no interest in that. But that is a question that I have is in the scenario of a junior show, why land the plane there at the Iowa Beef Expo?
Like I said, there are just some things that happened leading up to Iowa Beef Expo that just kind of struck a nerve with me that I thought were things that were said and things that people were trying to do before the Iowa Beef Expo this year to get Jake and I kicked off, or I'm not really exactly sure, that just kind of struck a nerve. That just kind of struck a nerve with me. And, I thought, you just, like I said, I talked about it in my speech, we just have got to be better about understanding, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Are we doing this for the kids? And that's really what it's supposed to be about. Are we doing it for the kids, or are we doing it for other reasons? And because of those reasons, that leads us, and I touched on it, every one of us at one point in time has been upset or frustrated with how a show went. There's no doubt about it. We're all guilty of it. There's all times where we've wanted to walk up to a judge and probably say things that we shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, we're all in this industry together, and we're all in this business together. And you can't create relationships, long-lasting relationships and business relationships and things of that nature in this industry if you're going to attack people and really attack people all the time for things that they do in that ring. Because for us, you know, we went into it with the intention of trying to be completely fair to every single person that walked in that ring, because that's what those kids deserve. Those kids deserve to know that they're walking into the ring with people that have an unbiased opinion of who they are, what their calf went for, any other asset stuff, and are going to give them an honest opinion of the cattle that day. And there's just some things that go on the backside of things that, like I said, struck a nerve with me, and I thought needed to be addressed. That you know, we need to be better as an industry, better as people about understanding that what this is supposed to be about, and this is supposed to be about those kids out in that ring, and really prioritizing that instead of prioritizing some ego that goes on from time to time.
Yeah, I can sure follow and see exactly, you know, where you're coming from there. I've heard it be said before that some of, you know, I've heard you talk tonight just about culture and how you feel like in the last 10 years the culture's changed in this business. But two-part question here. Number one, would you feel like the culture's changed everywhere and not just here? Number one.
Yeah.
The win now at all expense. I've got to win today. Do you think that's not just here, it's everywhere? Sports.
Oh, I totally agree. And that's why I tried to touch on. You know, we want to talk about how the rest of the world is falling apart, and you know, people are losing their minds, and you know, instant gratification, all these things that are going on, and we're slowly letting some of that infiltrate into our own industry and kind of taint some of what makes our industry what it is, you know? And so just, again, a reminder to bring everybody back down to why we do this and the reason we do this. And yes, we all want to win cattle shows. I don't think that any one of us that's sitting here, probably any of the people that are listening tonight, would sit here and tell you that our passion and our love is going out and raising good cattle that can make a difference in the industry, winning cattle shows, and it's great. But there's a lot of other things that are important in life. And there's a lot of other things to remember that, you know what, if you don't win this cattle show, it's okay. It's okay, because they make another cattle show next weekend and another show the next weekend. If you don't like one person's opinion, go get another person's opinion. And to be reminded that one jackpot show is not the end all be all.
Right, exactly.
And I tell you, you touched on in your speech, anytime that you throw the amount of money that you're going to win or the money that they cost, there's no doubt about it. Expectations go higher. There's no doubt about it. When you don't win, there's a certain level of bitterness, whether you want to take out on the judge or the person you buy that animal from. One of the two, because it's one of their two fault that you didn't win. You know.
Yeah.
I tell you something that's really struck a chord to me, and it struck a chord with me the first time I heard it at the Denver Steer Show. That I think Mark Core used it at Denver, and Gerald Buck reiterated it this year, and I think it is so true, and it needs echoed across the industry. Is Mark Core said when showing livestock, be better, not bitter.
Yep.
And too many people nowadays get so wound up in what they're doing, and just they're supposed to win, and they don't step back and look at the big picture. And hell, I'm one of them. I'll be the first to admit, my early days in the main business, I thought, you know, there was a lot of shows I thought, and let's face it, there was some. You know, I wanted to blame a lot of stuff on politics, and I think it's easy to do. And if you do that, you accomplish nothing in the livestock industry. And that's what Mark Core was talking about with his speech. And I do think there's a certain level where a lot of people need to step back and try to be better instead of being bitter about
Yeah. And that's what I mean. We, like I said, we've all been there. We've all been there where we get it. We've got money, we've got time, we've got everything invested into this, and it's hard. It's hard when you don't win, especially when you think you should have won. And we all can sit back and complain and stand around ringside and things like that. But at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be in this together. And I think that's what we all got to remember sometimes is we got to stop. It's not fighting against each other on this. As an industry, we all got to come together because, like you said, the outside world is creeping in, and they're encroaching in on what's not only what we do, but changing the culture of everything. And it's becoming harder and harder. And like you said, when you're throwing a lot of money at stuff, it's really easy. It's really easy to become frustrated and get angered because you didn't win or you didn't think you get a fair shake, and to do things that maybe we don't necessarily want to do and end up regretting later. And that was mainly my point is, before you go and, yell at somebody or try and blackmail somebody, harass somebody, start rumors about some other kid or some other family, take a step back before you decide to do that and think about why we do this and the point of doing all of this.
You hit on it just real quick. You just talked about regrets, and I guess it just poses the question from us to you guys, both of y'all, stepping back and talking about this a day later. Do you regret anything you said, or would you have said it any different? The message is clear as day. I mean, yeah, that's just what I was.
No,
Gotcha.
I feel really good about what I said and felt like it needed to be said due to some things. And again, I think that it's really easy for us all the time to sit around the ringside after a show and talk about these things, but we're not ever going to affect any sort of change if we're afraid to actually bring it up and talk about it in front of other people. And there needs to be a platform and for people to feel okay that they can talk about these things. Because like I said, our industry is wonderful. It's great. It's the nearest and dearest thing to my heart, but it's not always perfect. And there's always room to improve things and make it better.
I got you. Well, good deal. Well, I know without a shadow of a doubt, you guys just were afforded the opportunity to judge probably one of the most elite prospect shows that will happen all year long. And congratulations to you guys getting that bid to do that. And I know you can see the excitement in you, Ashley, for sure, Jake. I don't know that this is Jake right here, man. You're just totally excited. I love that about you.
That's just how he is, I promise you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when you marry the gasoline, a guy has to for sure be the water every now and then. So, but it was a pleasure of ours to have you guys on. Congratulations for judging the show, and
thank you.
Thanks for taking time.
It sounds like the Beef Expo is on the hunt they're going to try to go 3 for 3 on the flow. I'm not sure where they're going to find the one next year, but
we're not sure either.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. Well, y'all, thanks for being on. We always close our show out each time with what we call Cattlemen's for Christ. My wife sent me this week, and it's from Joshua 1:9. It says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will go with you wherever you go." And so that is this week's food for thought. Thank you to my wife for covering my tail. We had our county fair today, and 10 minutes till I was still racing to get here to visit with you guys. And hey, I left that off the list 2 weeks ago, and I was reprimanded for it. And I won't leave that off again. So thanks to my wife for that. Jake, Ashley, thank you both.
Thank you for having us. This is awesome.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks to 605 Sires and Donors, all your collection needs for your bulls. How long, Corey? 2 weeks, ST Lab will be up. Month?
April 1st. We're just about a month away. Yep.
April 1st. Okay, good deal. Well, thanks to Corey and Melissa for seeing value in Cattle Drive, and you'll be seeing more of them on these Monday nights. Anyway, Corey, I enjoyed it.
Yep. We will see you next Monday night, Brett.
Absolutely. And there's a little teaser here. Different species.
Next week?
Yeah. Blake Goss, Blake Kennedy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got
Kennedy Ventures and Blake
Yeah,
Goss.
when I was done with that.
I'm telling you. So those of you listening, tune in next week for the Blake special.
Hey, Blake, he won Louisville judging, didn't he? Or not?
No, their
He
team
just
did.
won a national championship team.
Yeah, their team did.
Gotcha. Hey, tune in next week and you can hear all about the fine gentleman Blake Kennedy and Blake Goss. So,
Boy, we're really getting out of the box there.
yeah, no joke.